One and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to the first sober talk in a while. Um, and if you haven't judged by the title, we made 17 years sober. All of us. You guys got me here. Uh, you know, another year behind us and another year of learning, I guess you could say. So just going to kind of kick back, relax, celebrate it all together. In the meantime, before we really get kicked off, um, hello, country girl, first one in. Figured this was a great opportunity to kind of talk about um, just life in general, because let's face facts. When you talk about sobriety, you're going to have to talk about the fact that you're living life. That's part of sobriety. You're living life. You get sober and everything's rosy and everything. It doesn't happen that way. Um, with with sobriety, one of the things that we'll be talking a little bit about in this particular stream, it's the thing that AA always constantly talks about is returning you to the flow of life, returning you back to, where you can get out there, become employable, and making long lasting relationships again, or mending old relationships, things like that. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about, and trying to straighten out some of what I call the daily life mess that is, what it is. Um, the reality of it all is that we've got a lot to talk about. But we're going to try to keep it just under an hour because I've got lots of videos to edit, and of course we'll be making a little bit of an announcement for Valentine's Day. But that'll come a little. We're gonna the usual whenever it's just us and a camera of some sort, just kind of like this. We're you know give it a minute, give it a minute. But anyhow, got myself a vape mod that you guys hadn't had a chance to see yet, and it's a nice little mod. Um, and I've got a nice watermelon ice in there that I can enjoy. I'm trying to stay away from smoking cigarettes. Um, hello, Kissable Demon. Welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. Everyone's slowly making their way in. Shared it out to the community. Shared it out to the community. I meant now that everyone's kind of making their way in. I meant to do this back on the 7th, which is when my sobriety. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we don't call it like an anniversary or something like that. We call it your sobriety birthday, and we'll talk a little bit about some of that jargon that you'll hear in AA. Very commonly you'll hear some of the jargon, and you'll hear me use some of that jargon from Alcoholics Anonymous, and a lot of you may not understand that particular jargon. Um, because it's almost like we have our own vernacular, if you will. And if I start using, because, I'm getting really bad about that again, using big ass words that most people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyhow, um, you know, it, thank you so much. 17 years is obviously nothing to sneeze at. But I can't take credit. Well, hello there, Broken Mike. Good to see you, brother. You know, when it comes to 17 years of sobriety, there's a couple of things we got to get out of the way. Okay. I didn't do it alone. I had a lot of good people supporting me along that way. It took a lot of good people to get me to where I'm at right now. And not just members of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not just members of Alcoholics Anonymous that brought me to this point. That is totally unfair because it's also folks like you guys in the community. Okay, it's folks like you guys in the community that help me stay sober. Um, you know, it's folks that I meet on the street. It's, people I meet at work. All these things, it's all of you guys out there, that bring me to where I need to be. Okay. And that is obviously putting, one 24-hour, period of sobriety with another, you know. Oh, that's family over. That's always nice. Always nice. Unless you've got a screwed up family, then, you know. Oh, all right. All righty. Right there with you guys. So now to kind of, it takes a lot of people to keep a guy like me sober. And I was talking about this earlier today that, as a content creator, I've always tried to take the stance that, I'm one, it takes individual people to click on that subscription button. Okay. And this is just something that I guess you could say Sober Man, my sponsor, has kind of taught me when it comes to humility. He kind of pointed this out to me a long time ago that, that humility, if you don't learn what true humility is, you'll understand what humiliation is soon after, if you don't learn what humility is. And if you want the easiest kind of AA explanation what humility is simply put not thinking less of myself, but thinking of myself just a little less, if you will. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, to kind of break that down for you, as a content creator, because of the DIY stuff and everything, I try to make myself accessible to just about anybody who can walk up, shake my hand. Cinnamon is doing fantastic. Um, my current makeup artist is afraid to actually buy the makeup. Um, she's very afraid to apply the makeup because Cinnamon is considered such an icon to a lot of folks. Sweet. Sweet. Thank you. Video's done. Because Cinnamon is considered such an icon, she's afraid to apply the makeup. There's been a lot of people that have even offered to even assist, but you know how that sometimes goes, where people will say, "Oh, I'll be right there," and then they're not there. It's like, "Well, we're ready for you," and then it's like, you know, "Yep, that's why am I holding Squirtle?" Well, I'll have to put it in. There's a joke that I told not too long ago, and we'll go ahead and throw it in here because, Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the things that we always talk about in AA is that we're not, the term is we're not a glum lot. And that's actually in the AA Big Book. And I could probably even take you right to the spot if I had a big book available to me at the moment. I know I usually keep one in the drawer right here. If I've got one, we'll use it. No. But anyhow, usually I have one in here. Ah, I see a squirrel. Yeah. But anyhow, I was making the joke, uh, which I will openly admit is not my actual joke, because in Alcoholics Anonymous, oh, thank you. Big book. This is perfect time to kind of go to it and reference this and then tell the joke. And see if I can still read with the enthusiasm and vigor that you all are familiar with. One thing to read it, but you got to read it, Okay, here's something that, when this is something directly out of, if you're a member of Alcoholics Anonymous and you got a AA Big Book available to you, page 132 is where you might want to be. See if I can still do this. We have been speaking to you of serious, sometimes tragic things. We've been dealing with alcohol in its worst aspect, but we aren't a glum lot. If newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. We absolutely insist on enjoying life. We try not to indulge in cynicism over the state of the nations, nor do we carry the world's troubles on our shoulders. When we see a man sinking into the mire that is alcoholism, we give him first aid and place what we have at his disposal. For his sake, we do recount and almost relive the horrors out of our past. But for those of us who have tried to shoulder the entire burden and trouble of others, we find we are soon overcome by them. So we think cheerfulness and laughter make for usefulness. Outsiders are sometimes shocked when we burst into merriment over a seemingly tragic experience out of the past. But why shouldn't we laugh? We have recovered and have been given the power to help others. Oh, hey, Harold. So, now that we've said that, so if I tell this joke, it's out of good humor. That's okay. I'm just glad you're here, brother. Just glad you're here. But I was holding this squirrel one day thinking about this, just out of curiosity. And again, this is not completely my joke. I'm going to openly admit that I kind of stole this one. But if there's a Detective Pikachu, okay, what if there was also a Detective Squirtle, okay, and being a detective, what is short for detective? You call him a dick, okay? Now, that's where you get the term Dick Tracy. Well, just out of curiosity, if there was a Detective Squirtle, would we get to call him Dick Squirts? I'm just asking. Would we get to call him Dick Squirts? Anyhow. There it was. Come here, you. Oh. Oh. And I know you. And I know you all had to see our little Zelda. You want to say hi to everybody, sweetie? Okay. Okay. Yep. Just wanted to ask. Of course, that brings to mind other Pokemon that could be detectives. You know, like Rhydon. Okay, Rhydon, you know.
Don't forget Licky Lick.
But baby reminds you of baby. Okay. But think about it a moment. A Rhydon. Would we get to call him Dick Rhydon? Just asking. Anyhow.
What about Licky Lick?
Yeah. And there's Licky, Licky Lick, Dick Licky. Anyhow, you guys know where this is going. But anyhow, now that we've proven the fact that I'm a sick puppy to sit here and tell these jokes. By the way, a little AA history, okay? Now that you all are dying laughing. Way back when, we were at Alcoholics Anonymous, kind of got its start from a group called the Oxford Group. And the Oxford Group was all this purity stuff and everything. And you don't even hear about the Oxford Group anymore, which is ironic because the original steps, which were originally 6 steps, and Bill W. kind of rewrote them further, expanded them. But the original steps as they were came from the Oxford Group. So the 12 steps originally started from somewhere else. And the problem was the Oxford Group, 2 things that they kind of goofed up on. Okay. And this is why we don't even talk about them because they don't exist anymore. But number one, they started moving away from trying to help people to just recover from alcoholism, they started getting in all sorts of stuff like politics and everything like that. So they kind of got away from what the formula, if you will. But the other thing that they kind of also did is they started this whole thing of this whole purity thing where you're supposed to not tell dirty jokes, and it was all very rigid. Might as well have been a church rigid, you know. And very quickly, so basically, people that were kind of in the early days of Alcoholics Anonymous, while everyone was doing, this very rigid, almost religious type thing out of the Oxford group, the ones that were involved with Alcoholics Anonymous and kind of the early foundation, they'd be back in the corner telling dirty jokes. Go figure. What's going on, Chairman? Welcome to the live stream, brother. So something to kind of take in, And the final straw that separated the Oxford group from Alcoholics Anonymous, the big book. This book right here. This is what ended up, this was the final straw. When Bill W. and the original printing press that was owned by Alcoholics Anonymous called Works Publishing Inc. or something like that, but it was Works Publishing Company or something like that, if I remember correctly. When they actually went in and printed this, the original, the first edition in the big book, when they printed that, that was kind of the final straw, and the Oxford group wanted nothing to do with Alcoholics Anonymous after that. And of course, we went on our way. They kept getting involved in all this other stuff that had nothing to do with getting people sober. And before you knew it, we don't even talk about them anymore. Isn't that so much fun? When you're dealing with folks like that, maybe sometime I'll have to give you guys some insight on that sort of stuff. It is what it is. I'm I catch others, using stuff that I use in their live streams that I've kind of made my own thing, and it's like often imitated but never duplicated. That is me, Prince Magnum. And as you can tell, I still now saying that, I guess you could say that I still struggle a little bit with the ego. That is one of my character defects. That's been a character defect of mine for a long, long, long time. I'm getting better because it took almost 20 minutes before I made a joke like that. Will do. We'll keep an eye and we'll keep our eyes peeled. It took nearly 20 minutes before I made a joke. Before I made an egotistical joke, and even I will openly admit to some degree, making an egotistical joke like that, there's a little bit of half truth, because there's still always going to be a part of me that wants to pump myself up bigger than what I am. I mean, obviously, we have to do that a little bit. If you're a content creator, you have to do that to some degree. You're basically selling yourself to your audience in every live stream. But at some degree, I also have to remember that, again, we're back to, it's folks like you guys out there that are, putting me where I'm at. I have to remind myself like that on a regular. And again, constantly, I remind myself, okay, I'll keep my eyes peeled. It is what it is. And I have to constantly remind myself that. And again, I will also point out that part of the lessons of humility that I've tried to remind myself is when I go out into the public, I try to make myself accessible. I've had several times over the course of the years since I've been a content creator, where those of you in the community walk up, shake my hand, hey, Prince Magnum, what's going on, man? Give me a big hug. Can I get a selfie with you? Absolutely. I'm sure there's selfies I don't even know about where people are getting pictures with them and Project Spirit or Project Lena. There's some that they've taken, with me, and I knew about those. Like, can I get a selfie? Absolutely, absolutely. Let's do this, man. You know, arm around them, give them a peace sign, whatever. You know, I I try to remember that. I try to remember that humility. Try to remember that humility. And while we're on the subject of humility, there was a I haven't talked about this, but there was an instant where I guess you could say this is one of those moments of humility that I need to humble myself a little bit because I'm human. I'm human. I make mistakes. Um, there was an instance where this was some years back where Project Spirit, her pickup coil went out in her distributor, and it had been so long since I've seen one go out, I didn't even remember what it was. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that is a thing when we got it fixed. And being that the pickup coil went out in the distributor, I'm trying to get a tow truck over so I can get her to a shop and get her looked at. And what ends up happening is, Chairman says hi. Uh, so what ends up happening is, as I'm trying to get a hold of a tow truck company, and trying to get a hold of a shop to get Spirit looked at because I didn't know what was going on, of all the things, um, you know, this guy tried to come up and, I didn't, this was one of the times I wasn't, successful at making myself accessible. Now, granted, I was on the phone, trying to get a hold of the tow truck and everything, but that's still no excuse. I could have asked, I could have handled it a lot better. I was kind of cranky about it. My car's acting up and everything. And I was kind of cranky about that. So I kind of failed in that regard. Um, so I guess you could say if he's watching at any point, I screwed up. I failed you as a content creator. You know, this has been some years ago. I've not really talked about this. I kind of, and this has been something that I've kind of carried on my shoulders for a while, and felt it was necessary to kind of open up and present it to the community if he's still watching. You know, I did you wrong, okay, and maybe I can do something to make it right. That sort of thing. But while we're on the subject of learning experiences, learning experiences. This past year has been a learning experience. Number one, for the last couple of years, the whole pandemic thing, I've stayed away. I haven't gotten out as much as I'd like to. I mean, I'll get to the car shows and things like that, but I've not made it to AA meetings, and I kind of avoided the AA meetings because um, it's kind of one of those things. If you see someone hacking their head off, you automatically, is the pandemic about to meet me head on right about this second? Well, in an AA meeting, there's oftentimes small rooms, not a whole lot of places you can kind of scoot yourself back. So I kind of kept my distance. But the pandemic's pretty well over for the most part, unless you live in China. So in that regard, I kind of need to get back to meetings as much as possible, because I'm not saying that AA won't survive without me. Believe me, they'll do just fine without me. Uh, but I guess you could say for my own survivability, it probably wouldn't hurt if I got out there and hung out with the members of AA and took in what they need to know. Take in their knowledge too. Because that's how I continue to grow. That's how we're able to talk about 17 years later, from where I was to where I am today. That's how we're able to talk about these things. Is it took, again, good members in Alcoholics Anonymous to teach me about sobriety, and it takes folks like you guys out there in the community to support me in helping me stay sober. It takes good, strong, I'll say it again. I'll say it again. You folks in the Maverick Nation are the biggest cross section because under normal circumstances, most of us most likely, I keep saying it, The Maverick Nation is the biggest cross section of what we have to offer out of this world. As a content creator, I couldn't be happier that I have so many different walks of life in my community. Um, it's you guys that really make this channel awesome. I honestly believe I have one of the most diverse, variety YouTube channels you could ask for. But at the same time, it's you guys are the ones that make it that awesome. So I can't really even take that credit. I really can't take credit at this stage of the game. It's you guys in the community. It's really all of you out there, that contribute to what I do. I know a lot of you have been enjoying the Victory is Life series from Star Trek Online that we've been doing. And I know a lot of you have been enjoying that, which, by the way, I finally frickin' finished it. And it's ready to go through its final touch up in the editor. And it's probably the best one that I've done for the Star Trek series. The final episode for Victory is Life is done, other than an intro and an outro. That's it. That's what Country Girl was like. Video's done. Okay? But again, I want to point out that, my sobriety is not just members of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's folks like you guys, on the other side of, of this camera, which you're not actually physically on the other side of the camera. And for the record, if you're shouting at the screen as I'm talking, it doesn't work that way. I talk to the camera and, you guys watch and put stuff in the comments. Anyhow. Yeah, I had to do that. Guys. But anyhow, double check, make sure the chat's moving like it's supposed to. All right. But really, again, it's you guys in the community. It really is you guys in the community that put me where, that really helped me out. Got like 500,000 things, a lot of thank yous out there. But this past year has been a learning experience. I need to get back out there to AA meetings. No question about it. I've got to get out there because it's not so much what I have to contribute. It's what they can contribute to my sobriety and my continued growth in staying sober. It's not, you guys got to understand, Alcoholics Anonymous is about saving your own life, yes. But the only way to actually do that is to accept help from others, in staying sober. So as far as that goes, me going to AA meetings is still vital to me staying sober. But along with that, I will still openly admit I'm a very selfish alcoholic. I still need every last one of you guys, okay, to stay sober. I still need every one of you out there to help me stay sober. And that's not a soundbite sort of thing, It's not me just, that's not how that works. I'm a selfish alcoholic, and I openly admit it. I still need all of you. And, oh, Harold says hi. I still need all of you guys out there. I need every last one of you. And that's just the honest to goodness truth. I'm such a selfish alcoholic. I need over 1,000 of you. That should tell you something. And the more of you that join the community, I'd end up needing them too. Okay, that's what helps me stay sober. Is all of you. And again, I'm an egotistical, selfish alcoholic, and that should tell you something that really what I'm actually doing is getting you guys to help me stay sober. So I don't know if that's a bad thing in this case. You guys can kind of debate that if you'd like, but the real truth of it is I need all of you guys. I don't do sobriety alone. It requires good people, and that's the honest goodness truth. Again, here we are talking 17 years later. I kid you not. Well, thank you so much for that kiss. Well, that's awfully sweet. Well, of course I want you guys, a part of my sobriety. Let's face facts, okay? I'm a small piece of the puzzle that we know as sobriety. We're talking across the globe. and I won't. And when I say sobriety, I'm also talking about those who suffer from chemical addiction as well. Drugs and alcohol. You know, I'm a small piece in that mosaic of folks across the globe. You know, and that's just it. I want you guys to continue to support me. You guys help me stay sober. That's the whole point. I love that. I like that. I like that. There's no Magnum Express without Prince Magnum. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Um, but honestly, yeah, well, you know what I'm saying, Chairman. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we kind of separate the two, if you will. Um, and the way we kind of separate it is kind of strange for some folks. We oftentimes tell those who are ready for recovery, if they say, "Well, I also have a problem with drugs," the way we usually say it is, "Let's treat your alcoholism, and what should happen is your drug addiction will follow right in behind your problems with alcohol. Your problems with drugs should fall in line with it." Um, which, for the record, true drug addicts, true, what we would consider true drug addicts, ironically enough, those particular folks are very special and rare individuals, even more so than the alcoholic. So to my Narcotics Anonymous brothers and sisters, I recognize you and I love each and every one of you. And thank you guys for your sobriety too. Um, Thank you guys so much because you guys have an amazing, amazing story.
I'm proud to say that one of my coworkers is almost a year sober.
And an oh, coworker almost a year so okay.
I'm very
If
happy
they
to say that.
and as and knowing that if you watch, if that coworker is watching, thank you for your sobriety. Thank you, reminding me that this thing still works. All right. Um, Now, real quick, some life changes have happened in this past year. Obviously, one of the biggest change, some of the big changes. I changed jobs this year. I changed jobs, folks. Alcoholics Anonymous teaches us to get along with life. Okay, it teaches us to get along with life and to cope with life's problems. One of the things it doesn't tell us to do, though, is to be people's floor mats, to be someone's doormat. We, as an alcoholic, I am not somebody's doormat. I am not there for someone to kick around. And the job that I held, that was actually a thing where they kind of expected me to roll over and play dead. And the answer is no, you don't get to do that. I'm a living, breathing human being. You don't have the right to walk on me. And, the people that you want to coddle don't have the right to walk on me either. So I changed jobs. I work in a vape shop now. Hey, what's going on, sis?
Hannah.
For those that don't know, Hannah is actually my little sister. So my little sister is here right now with us, joining us for this particular live stream. So, very quickly, again, I want to point out that, sobriety is not about, it teaches us to be patient, tolerant, understanding of other folks, but it does not tell us that we're supposed to be somebody's doormat. And I was dealing with that in the previous job. So I changed jobs. Okay, I changed jobs. That was a big change for me. And a big enough change that, it is a bit of a struggle at times. I'm not adopted. What are you talking about? Out of all your brothers, I'm the favorite. We know this. Out of all your brothers, I am the favorite. I'm also the best looking. I seen that. It just showed up. Yeah, Gavin John's live streaming as well. If y'all think of it, stop over and say hi to Gavin John.
Or we could do a Magnum raid.
We haven't done that in a while. We might have to do that. Ah, one sister. I only have one sister, but I have a total of How many brothers? Gosh, I haven't had to count this up in a while.
Didn't you have four actual brothers and four
No,
others?
no. I got four other brothers and a sister. But out of all the brothers, I'm the best looking. Guaranteed. And if you ask Mama Magnum, she'll tell you, out of all the brothers, out of all the brother, out of all her boys, I'm the one who knows how to treat a lady the best. Take that to heart, guys. Nope, nope, nope. I'm best looking out of all the brothers. Trust me. We'll argue it, out of all of us brothers. I'm the best looking. Out of all your brothers, I'm the best looking brother. We'll leave it there. I'm the original. But anyhow, uh, as far as like, this past year, that was a big change. There, made other changes too to my life, which we'll talk. I'm the smartest. Okay, yeah. You know, well, well. Now hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on, Mike. Uh, if you're her only brother, that literally means you could look right at her and say, "Just so you know, sis, I'm your favorite. I'm your favorite brother." And if she says, "Well, I'm your own, you're my only brother," which makes me your favorite.
That is true.
I mean, that's how that works. You could look right at her and say, "But that makes me your favorite." What's going on, Grave Taker? What's going on? Good to see you, brother. See, Mike, I told you, I got you on this. That's that Prince Magnum quick wit. That's that Prince Magnum quick wit that everyone's so. Now since we're on the subject of being honest and that quick wit, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, okay? Kind of give you guys an inside track because we all know. That's right. Happy birthday. I was hoping you'd show up in that one after the last Victory is Life live stream, premiere. I did a live stream right afterwards because I was so excited and I was hoping you would show up because I was going to make a big deal out of it. I was going to make a big deal out of it, but I couldn't. You weren't able to be there, so I'll have to get you on that. Ooh, yep, yep. Again, after the stream, we all need to get over there at some point, or if you think about it, just get over there, give him a big shout out, but say hi to him, something. But yeah, Gavin John has been doing that for a while. He's been playing a game called Knives Out, and he's got connections to get the Japanese versions of the game, which is really cool. Um, if I remember correctly, he lives in England, but he travel. His job makes him travel to Japan, so he some of the time of the year he's actually in Japan, which is really fucking cool. Yeah, Gavin John gets he travels a lot to Japan, so that's really something kind of awesome that most people don't know about. Which again, Gavin John is one of the longtime members during the great expansion of the Prince Magnum channel. Um, Well, we haven't had a chance to do like a sit down like this in a long time where we just kind of, talk about, things like this. And Gavin John was part of those early days, when we started doing stuff like this. We haven't done this in a while. So it's kind of nice to sit down and kind of talk to y'all, kind of get you guys caught up. So yeah, earlier this year I changed, last year coming into the new year, I changed jobs and basically told them, look, I'm tired of the way you guys are treating me. I'm Audi 5000. I'm going elsewhere. Which now most of y'all knew I was working for as a maintenance man for McDonald's from what I've been able to see. Because every once in a while, for reasons that are not necessarily important to talk about, I end up going in and, I'll get a quick look at, what's kind of going on in the back. I don't even have to walk back there because I worked in maintenance for so long, I can kind of glance and see what's going on. I'm wondering how they're even able to operate and even say that they're operating within McDonald's gold standard. I don't even know how they could even remotely say that. They can't. That's just the honest goodness truth. They can't. So, again, and I look at it and it's like, you guys did this to yourself. And that's something that, there's a balance between, again, we're back to being humble. Okay. And again, this is something I've had to kind of learn a little bit of. There's a fine line that, we have to remember to remain humble. We try not to pat ourselves on the back too hard. Again, humility is all about not necessarily thinking, less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself a little less. You know, and again, where I do that is trying to give back to the community as much as possible, which we'll talk a little bit about some of that. But beyond that, we're not, as a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm not somebody's doormat. I'm not somebody's kick toy. No one has the right to treat me less than I am. If I've earned if I put in the effort and earned the right to say that I make a difference, then you don't get to take that away from me at any stage, whether you like it or not. Because some of the same character defects I suffered, you don't have to be an alcoholic to suffer from them. If y'all are on the same page with me. Just because I'm an alcoholic and I have ego problems or problems with patience and tolerance and things of that nature, doesn't doesn't mean that other people can't suffer from the same issue, which probably pisses me off even more. If you ever wanted to be pissed off at somebody, look at their character defects and find the ones that you're notorious for, because those are the ones that are going to piss you off the most. To give you an idea, those people who have ego problems usually piss me off the most. Not a joke. And I have ego problems. So that should tell you something. Man, look, sitting on... I tried to explain this to my mother, and I could see myself on the camera. I tried to explain this to my mom. I said, all of my cameras are kind of stupid. My cameras are stupid. Where cameras normally just tack on, 10 pounds, mine make me look like I'm 20 pounds overweight, And that's kind of how it looks. I'm looking at myself on the camera. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm going to have to do some crunches or something. What the shit and fuck here, Um, and again, there we are, the ego thing. So that's what ticked me off is they didn't want to openly admit that, maybe I did make a difference. It was hard for them to swallow. And it pissed me off. And I took a job elsewhere. And currently, right now, in the job that I'm in, basically, I'm a salesman. and I'm also acting as an assistant for the store for the branch manager in the store that I work in for Vapor Maven. Um, so basically, I sell vapes. I sell vapes, trying to help people quit smoking. And for the most part, I have quit smoking. How many of you have been on my end? Where is Queen Bee? She has been the one who's been on my ass. I mean, shoot. She all but threw a saddle on me and rode me on that. Third Gen 83 all but threw a saddle. That just sounds wrong. We'll leave that. Sorry, Third Gen. Anyhow, um, but anyhow, yep, you too, Chairman. Really, the only time I smoke now is when I'm driving, okay? And if you've seen drivers here in the state of Missouri, you get it. People here in Missouri can't drive. But for the most part, I've quit smoking, which is why I've got this mod. Now, kind of a heads up. Again, my makeup artist is scared to death. She's around here somewhere. But I'm going to ask you guys in the community to put the pressure on the makeup artist to stop being so damn scared and slather that makeup on Cinnamon. She's ready to come back on camera, which means that she'll be borrowing my vape mod. And you all know how this is going to go because you see this vape mod.
Really? You're going to do that?
And Kissable Demon, I know she's somewhere in the background laughing her ass off. You guys know we're going to leave that alone. Okay. Just kind of leave that where I just said it, if you will. But I'm going to ask you guys in the community to start putting that pressure on my makeup artist. And y'all know who the makeup artist is, okay? She's scared to death. Put the pressure on her. What's worse can happen? You know, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You know, she do my makeup so I look like Harley Quinn, and you know, there's some sick people in the background. I mean, you know, some sick puppies in the background. You know, whacking their weasels and splooging all over the screen. You know, if I look like Harley Quinn, you know, Cinnamon comes out looking like Harley Quinn.
Cinnamon is an icon, and I can't screw that up.
That'll be all right. Chairman, no Harley Quinn. No Harley Quinn. Chairman's got the thing. Has got a thing for Harley Quinn. We want Cinnamon back on camera. Absolutely. And again, we're going to kind of talk. I kind of fucked up that video, and we're going to have to do kind of a sit down video where I kind of touch base on some certain things and some things that I'm going to kind of tell the detractors of, you know, the ones that want that.
What?
You might want to look at the chat. Okay. There we go. See? So, you know, and again, you know, one of the other things that Alcoholics Anonymous has taught me is that if I'm about to get outside of my comfort zone, I'm about to learn something. And the character Cinnamon does take me a lot of times outside of my comfort zone. And every time I get outside of that comfort zone playing that character, I end up learning something new. Not necessarily about myself, but about other people. And that's important. I think that's super important. And, you know, we're going to save this for its own video. I promise you guys that, because the one that I did, I was supposed to go in and put some important stuff, but I fucked it all up. Oh, Mini Demon. I hope one day I get to hold Mini Demon and give her a great big kiss and hug from her Uncle Magnum. You know, be able to give her one in person. That is my hope one day, to give Mini Demon a big hug and a kiss from from her Uncle Magnum. You know, um, if there's ever anything on a bucket list, that's one of them. Which probably tells you guys exactly, you know, again, you know, I try to be personal. I try to be personable with all of you guys out there. But we are getting close to where I'd like to, you know, get back to work on videos and stuff. We've got a big premiere tonight. If you're watching the live stream, we've got a premiere tonight. I think you guys are in for a real treat. Um, Tonight is episode 5 of Victory is Life, which has, I guess you could say, another bucket list thing, item of mine. Kind of a fantasy bucket list. I'm a huge Star Trek fanatic. And this only on the Prince Magnum channel can I live out, you know, fantasy bucket list items. I've always wanted, you know, because, you know, there you go. Absolutely. But one of my all-time fantasy bucket list items, I guess you could say, is, you know, because I'm a huge Star Trek Deep Space Nine fan, I'm a little bit more Next Generation and believe it or not, Star Trek Enterprise and TOS, kind of what I call the I know. There we go. I don't. On this channel, we try not to talk a whole lot about Star Trek Voyager. You know, that definitely deserves its own video. Why I'm not a Star Trek Voyager fan. But now that we've kind of got that established, let's kind of, because I'm a fan of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I guess you could say kind of a fantasy bucket list. I always wanted to be in one of the Star Trek Deep Space Nine Ferengi episodes. The Ferengi episodes from Deep Space Nine. There you go. One of the, you know, Star Trek, you know, if you've never seen one of the Ferengi episodes, they're very funny, very comical. There's usually like a running gag in there somewhere. And it's always been kind of like a fantasy bucket list that I got to play in one of those. Well, I could tell you with tonight's premiere, I got it. And only in sobriety would I ever get to enjoy something like that. So I'm looking forward to this, you know. There you go. And see, which brings us to a very important thing that I need to remind all of you. Here we are, we're pumping somebody up as we're celebrating the fact that I'm 17 years sober. Only on the Prince Magnum channel. Only on the Prince Magnum channel will you find, you know, and you'll find it in other places, but you'll find that level of positive, you know, vibe, that drive to push each other, to expand our boundaries, to push ourselves to the limit. You go to a lot of other bigger channels and you won't find that. You'll find it on a few of the others that of larger channels that are right here in my own community. You'll find that, but usually you find them attached to this community anyway, so that's the way it should be. That's how it is, you know. So, I mean, here we are. We're celebrating 17 years sober. I couldn't have done it without you guys. That's the reality. You know, that is the reality. It's you guys. It's you guys. And we continue through this channel to build each other up. whether you're a content creator, a passerby, or a longtime member of the Maverick Nation. That's what it's all about, building each other up. Because, I mean, there's a whole world out there that will tell me what I'm doing wrong. Besides the member, going into an AA meeting, I come onto my channel to hear what I'm doing right. It's you guys. You guys are the ones. Since I started this channel, gosh, it's been like, my first video was probably something like, no, longer than that. My original video probably goes back, almost 10 years ago. It might be about 10 years ago. We didn't even have a name for the channel yet. That should tell you how far back it goes. I was still using my YouTube username. Okay. You go back to that early, I think that video has only got maybe like 400 views. I haven't looked at it in so long. My God. And every time I look at it, it's always cringeworthy. It's like, oh God, it sucked. Talk about a little humility right there. Oh my God. You even go back to videos I did 7 years ago. It's like, God, that was cringeworthy. It's like nails on a chalkboard. And the way that it flowed, and the way that it's like, I seen cats fuck with more harmony that was in those early videos I had. God, it was bad. Which I know right now Mike and Kiss are dying laughing. I can't believe he said that. Oh my God. But, there's a lot of truth in that. It was very cringeworthy. It's neat to see where sometimes I'll go back and look at some of my old videos and to see where I came from. But my God, to see where I came from to what type of content I do today, big difference, big difference. Thank God those days are behind us. I hope I never make videos that bad. And I thought they were so awesome. No, they weren't. It was bad, But anyhow. Oh, do you? Yeah, yeah. In all honesty, Spaceman, welcome to the live stream. Big loves to you. Big loves to you. We're getting ready to wind down the live stream. And again, this is a celebration of life, not just my life, but how you guys have kept me sober. It's really, in all honesty, I celebrate 17 years now because of you guys, really. It's you guys. You guys are the ones that are propping me up, and, in all reality. Soberman and I were talking about that the other day. I said, really, it's the community. It's really the community. Yeah, I'm doing all these awesome things and everything, but in reality, it's the community. It's good to see you, Space. Now, give you guys a heads up. After episode 6, you guys will get to be able to see the USS Maverick and the Star Trek live streams. You will be able to do it. I know some of you were kind of a little disappointed you couldn't get an early glimpse of what the ship is like, but that would really just ruin the excitement. Which really, I should probably wait till the end of the series. Wait till the end so you guys can really get a glimpse of what that ship can do, because oh my God. But we'll kind of throw that out there and, kind of let you guys, give you a glimpse. Again, we've been all over this live stream. We've been all over the place. But the reality of it is, I got into Alcoholics Anonymous thinking I was going to learn, either A, learn how to drink like a gentleman, or B, I was going to learn how to stop. But what I got was I learned to live life on life's terms without a drug, without alcohol. And then after I did that, Alcoholics Anonymous returned me to the flow of life and allows me to do some really exciting things. And for that, I am grateful. But in order for me to continue to say that I'm grateful, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. So I will continue to do my best to show you guys that I'm grateful for each and every one of you being kind enough to touch that like button and to turn on notifications, to come in here and prop me up with whatever crazy endeavor I feel like doing that day. That is the best I can do, is to continue to show you guys that I'm grateful for everything that you guys do for me. Because at day's end, I can't do this alone. I need each and every one of you out there. You know, I need all of you. So as we get ready to close out the live stream, we're not gonna do as I like to say, pay the bills. You guys know where. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gispel Demon, for reminding me of that very important piece. I'm not alone anymore.
You said you had a special announcement at the end of the live stream about Valentine's Day.
Yes. Thank you. Before I forget, for Valentine's Day, I got to run it through the editor. Hopefully the computer does not scream and tell me to eat shit and die, because that final episode for Victory is Life just about, my computer just about said, fuck all, I'm done with you, asshole. You know, you're a fucking dick. This is a big ass video. Now, I've got to tackle the editor, the editing program, but there is going to be, for Valentine's Day, I'm not sure how we're going to release it, but there is. It's calling for an up. Oh no. It was a big video. It was huge.
Almost an hour long.
I'm not even done putting in what else needs to be there, but the final episode for Victory is Life is nearly an hour long. It's that big. You guys are gonna get probably the best edited video game slash, you know, best video that I have taken from a video game ever in this one video. I guarantee that everything out of this, the final episode, for the final episode, you guys are going to get that top shelf Prince Magnum quality edited video that is going to leave us all going, holy shit. But where was I? Big announcement. For Valentine's Day, we will be releasing the brand new first ever video for a brand new series here on the channel, and an all new romance series, brand new. It's gonna be the introduction. We're kicking off a new romance series. No questions asked. It's time. We're gonna release the introduction. Nothing can beat you. A couple years. Yeah, I remember that. We were all like, what the just happened? What happened? That one left me baffled. I'm still scratching my head about that 2 years later. I'm like, did you all just see that? Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I drove off a cliff and go boom?
Literally, we were, I forgot who was driving. Might have been me, actually. And we went airborne off of a huge drop. Yeah, absolutely. It's still scratching our head, keeps us awake at night. We were driving along and we went to ramp off of this huge embankment. When we ramped off and when we landed, the truck came down hard, but it wasn't like anything you wouldn't expect in Fortnite. And when it did, the truck kind of kept rolling and we all died. And I've never seen that before. Never.
Apparently it was the wolf driving. Mike says it was spirit.
Was it? Okay. Okay. I was gonna say because a lot of times I'm usually the guy that drives, and okay, it just showed up. Yeah. Oh, it came down so hard.
I was thinking the exact same thing as Kissable, so I completely know what she's talking about. I can't help it, the way you said it too.
So there is a she's dying right now. So we will be kicking off a brand new romance series, and in the intro, I'm not going to give away too much for the introduction video, but it's going to be a lot of me just kind of talking to the camera and kind of laying the groundwork for what you guys need to kind of expect out of the romance series. So if you got, so that's kind of where it's a perfect day to do it. Valentine's Day, kick it off proper. And I might just go ahead and just kind of release it so you can all watch it. Because, if it's Valentine's Day, if you got a moment, or the following day, whatever the case may be. But that's probably how we're going to go ahead and lay it out. All right. That does bring us a good stopping point for this particular live stream. We went a little longer than anticipated, but, hey, I'm hanging out with you guys, celebrating another year of sobriety. Couldn't ask for much more. Not exactly how I figured 17 years would look, but then again, as saying AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. A lot of truth in that. And I think that applies to everybody. If you ever want to make God laugh, whoever God is to you in your life, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. But anyhow, so that does bring us to the stopping point. I haven't been able to do this outro in a while as we kind of let out for the day. At day's end, I want to remind all of you that I need you guys as much as you all tell me that you need me. I need you guys just that much. Every one of you out there. I need all of you guys. And that's not a soundbite. That's not me blowing smoke up your ass. That's very truthful. I'm still a selfish alcoholic, and I'm still trying to save my own life. After 17 years, alcoholism is still a real thing for me. So I need all of you out there. Every last one of you. And now that I've said that, I want to remind all of you, wherever you're at, no matter what's going on in your life, I want to remind you guys. If no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.